Why do I want war with Iran? I definitely want war with Iran. I've been wanting war with Iran for 20 years. I've been saying it, right? For 20 years, I've been saying the real enemy is Iran. Right now, after 9/11, I helped put out a full-page ad in the New York Times and Washington Post, written by Leonard Peikoff, saying it's Iran, stupid, and we should take them out. Why? Because Iran has been at war with the United States since 1979. It's been killing Americans since 1979. Let's start. In 1979, the U.S. Embassy was taken. 66 Americans were held hostage for 444 days by Iranian students backed by Ayatollah Khomeini, the predecessor of Khamenei. In 1983, the U.S. Embassy was bombed in Beirut. 17 Americans were killed. The bombing was done by Hezbollah, which was funded, supported, promoted by the Iranians. Also in 1983, just a little bit after the U.S. Embassy bombing, the Marine barracks, Ronald Reagan had sent Marines as peacekeepers to Beirut, was bombed. 241 U.S. servicemen, primarily Marines, were killed with a car bomb. Again, backed by Hezbollah, backed by Iran's Revolutionary Guard. So a lot of Americans have already died. We're only in 1983. Iran's been at war with the United States. Now, the United States can bury its head in the sand and pretend it ain't so, but that's the reality. 1984, the U.S. Embassy Annex is bombed in Beirut again. 2 Americans are killed. In 1996, by the way, in the 1980s, also the Hezbollah, with the guidance of the Iranians, kidnapped the CIA, the head of the CIA in Beirut, tortured him, and killed him. They kidnapped several Americans, killing several of them. We'll skip ahead, though, to 1996. Koba Towers bombing in Saudi Arabia, which was done by Hezbollah el-Hijaz, again, backed by Iran with Iranian intelligence and Iranian support, killed 19 U.S. airmen. In 1998, the U.S. Embassy bombing in Kenya and Tanzania. 12 Americans killed by al-Qaeda, but Iran and Hezbollah provided tactical support. Hey, why is it any of Iran's business why we have troops in Beirut? Why is it any of Iran's business why we have troops in Saudi Arabia? We didn't have troops in Iran. Why is Iran killing Americans in Beirut? Why is Iran killing Americans in Saudi Arabia? They're killing Americans. Maybe at that point they didn't have reach to get to the United States, but their goal is to kill Americans. So, why is Iran in Beirut? Why is Iran in Saudi Arabia? Why is Iran in Iraq? Why is Iran in Syria? Why are you not asking those questions? Let's say it was an American mistake to send American troops to Beirut. That doesn't justify killing them. It just doesn't justify Iran killing them. I mean, if it was Lebanese, you could at least argue something. If the Koba Towers in Saudi Arabia was bombed by Saudis, okay, maybe. But why are the Iranians doing it? In 1998, the U.S. Embassy we did that. 2001 to 2020. The Iranians supported the killing of at least 30 or more U.S. personnel in Afghanistan, 2003 to 2011. The Iranians are responsible for the killing of hundreds of Americans in Iraq. Now you can say, we shouldn't have been there. Maybe we shouldn't have been in Iraq. Maybe. We can have that debate another time. Why is Iran killing them? Because Iran's at war with America. And they doing whatever they can, wherever they can, to kill Americans. We're not moving the goalposts. We're not moving anywhere. We're telling the story as it is. In 2007, in Karbala province headquarters in Iraq, 5 American soldiers are killed by Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps Quds Force operatives. In 2019, a rocket attack on the K-1 air base in Iraq, 1 U.S. contractor killed by an Iran-based Hezbollah, right? Iran-backed Hezbollah. A ballistic missile attack on Al-Assad air base in Iraq. 100+ U.S. personnel are injured. In 2011, a plot to assassinate Saudi ambassador in Washington, D.C. by the Iranian Revolutionary Corps. This is in D.C. was discovered, right? In 2021, a plot to kidnap an Iranian here in New York City, an Iranian dissident in New York City. They're now in New York by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard was foiled. And then in 2024, there was a murder for hire plot targeting Donald Trump and others that was linked to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. Now, that's just purely attacks on America. The fact is that Iran was developing and working on a ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missile. What do they need that for? Not to attack Israel. That a regular ballistic missile is good enough. Why would they need an ICBM? Well, only because if they wanted to attack the United States and put a nuke on it. Well, hello, you shouldn't call yourself a libertarian if by libertarian you mean liberty, because you're not for liberty. You're for, failure, death, and destruction by pacifism, by inaction. That's not liberty. Liberty is something you need to fight for. Liberty is something you need to protect. Liberty is something you need to, you have to realize that there are bad guys out there in the world who want to destroy it. The Iranians want to destroy liberty in the U.S., and you, and many of you, want to just pretend. No, all is good in the world. Libertarians are generally very good at pretending, making stuff up and pretending. So no, the U.S. had lots of reasons, and I'm not even including here the fatwa against Salman Rushdie in, 1989, the firebombing of American bookstores inspired by the Iranians in 1989 and the early 1990s, ultimately the attack on Salman Rushdie in the United States by somebody who was inspired by the fatwa, by the Iranian fatwa. And then I'm not talking about, the proxy war that the Iranians have fought against Israel using Hamas and Hezbollah and their agents in Syria and in Iraq. We're not talking about the fact that Iran was responsible for the massacring of thousands and thousands and thousands of people in Syria. Because, that's not America's interest. Who cares? I get it. But you should care about American lives. You should care about threats to American lives. And, people say, they've been claiming Iran wants nuclear weapons forever. Why was Iran refining uranium to 60% when, for commercial purposes, you need a lot less than that? And once it's at 60%, to get it to the 95% that is used in a nuclear bomb is very easy and very quick to do. Why were they actually getting to 60%? Why were they doing it and accumulating uranium at 60% if they weren't intending ultimately to convert it into uranium they could put in a bomb and use? The only reason they would do that, is if they wanted a bomb. And why would they want a bomb? Well, to gain strategic power in the Middle East, to make them untouchable vis-a-vis the United States and Israel. And, you know, if they had the opportunity to use one of those bombs, certainly on Israel. I mean, the cowardice and the evasion and the blindness and the anti-Americanism, the anti-Western civilization that is implicit in the libertarian movement today is really horrific and disgusting. So, they are either ignorant, but they're not ignorant. They're evasive. They choose not to see what's right in front of their eyes. And they choose not to defend their own freedom and their own liberty. They choose not to identify what is a real threat. Because most libertarians are inspired by anarchists, by Rothbard and the like, who, above all, ultimately hate America, hate the West, because we're actually pretty good. And the whole idea of vanity is no, the state is awful, the state of evil, the state is horrible. It's just, and we must hate any state, particularly the good ones. The bad ones confirm our theory. So, we don't hate the Iranians, we don't hate the Soviets, we don't hate the Russians, we don't hate those because they're bad regimes. That's completely consistent. I'd say all of that. And that is true of, this is why Ron Paul, somebody like Ron Paul is so pro-Venezuela of all places. Venezuela, a socialist hellhole. And he thinks the poverty and problems that Venezuela has are because of American sanctions. They would rather hate America than condemn some authoritarian hellhole. Yeah, I mean, American intervention has been very feckless, horrible over the last, since World War II. We've fought wars we shouldn't have fought, and we've not fought wars we should have fought. But the solution to bad foreign policy is not, let's pretend there's no evil in the world and let's bury our head in the sand. And that's, you're saying there's been bad foreign policy. Absolutely, there's been horrible foreign policy. Let's fix it, rather than pretending that the world is nice and friendly and good, except for America and Israel. Those are the bad guys. America, Israel, Western Europe, those are the evil people in the world. The good people in the world all live on the other side. They're the authoritarians. That's modern libertarianism for you. Just go listen to them. Go listen to Dave Smith or watch the chat here, and you get a good sense of this.